7's. Thank you. CB7's Committee on Environment and Sanitation, May 3rd. You're all welcome. Hope everyone had a good day or week so far, and we're going to begin. I'm going to first start with the guidelines, and I'll do that with my screen here. Continue to move things around. Okay. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Betty Arce, Chair of the Environmental and Sanitation Committee, and this is Bronx Community Board 7's Environmental Sanitation Committee. The committee, I'll read the agenda afterwards, but I just want to get the guidelines out of the way. As per the Governor's Executive Order 202.1, we are running this committee meeting remotely, and minutes will be taken for record keeping. The minutes will appear on our website within days and can be requested from the BC7 staff at any time. It is important that the following protocol is established, and this is how we will run the meeting. Everyone besides the speaker presenter will stay muted throughout the meeting. After each presentation is over, I will inquire if committee members have questions. Committee members will signify that they have a question by pressing the raise hand button on your screen if you're on Zoom, or request to speak through the chat or when the chair opens the floor. Members of the public who have joined through the online link will be able to ask questions and make a brief statement on the item after each presentation and after the committee has had an opportunity to ask clarifying questions. If you are calling into the meeting on the conference, controls while joining from landline or cell by calling dial-up number. To hear all available commands, enter ** on your phone, *6 to mute or unmute yourselves, *9, virtual raise hand and virtual lower hand. Following questions and discussions and public comment portion, the committee will begin their discussions after each presentation and on the agenda item, and will conclude with the decisions to vote on a recommendation. When the agenda is finished, the meeting will be adjourned. And I'm probably reading an older version of our committee guidelines. We have a newer one where we discuss protocols and decorum. We will not take, and I'm just going to extemporaneously talk about what we have always agreed on, that we would make sure that everyone is respectful of others. We will not abide by any attempts to denigrate anyone, either the speakers or people on the chat or in the committee room. People will be blocked, and if this was in person, if something were to get to the point where it would be the person posed a danger or was a problem for the committee meeting to continue, that person would be removed from the room. If we had to call law enforcement to have people come in. So with that said, please be courteous of each other, follow the rules, and hopefully we can get as many people to speak as possible. I'm going to stop that share, and I'm going to go back to the meeting. I just want to make sure, I'm going to now take attendance to make sure that we have a quorum. Again, I'm going to share the screen and take attendance. Let me take this down and take up the attendance roster. Okay. So please say your name and whether if you're present, obviously. Betty Arce, Chair, I'm here, present. Helene Hartman-Kudnowski, she is excused. She said that she would not be able to attend. Gwendolyn Thomas-Steed. Gwendolyn. Okay. Jean Hill.
Jean Hill is present.
Thank you. Rosalie Leslie. Hugo Gonzalez. Lowell Green.
Lowell Green is present.
Thank you. Okay. So 1, 2, 3 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We don't have a quorum, but we will proceed with the meeting. And what that means is that we basically will not be able to take any kind of motions. We won't be able taking any kind of actions, okay? Now we're going to go to our agenda. And let me take that up. This is the agenda. No, that's the motion. That was our first motion. Here it is, I think. That was the previous meeting. We'll get that one up. Okay, sorry, folks. Okay. All right. So this evening, we're going to have a few presentations.
You're not sharing the right screen, Betty.
What am I sharing?
You can see your folders.
Oh, you're still seeing that? Okay, let me take
Yeah.
that out. Okay, let me do that. I didn't take down the you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you for that. All right, so so we've done the meeting guidelines, we've taken attendance. We're going to now review the previous minutes, although we'll take this down. And let me take up desktop. Okay. I'm gonna have to go the other way. Okay, just let someone into the room.
Betty, you could have left the last screen up because that was just the agenda.
I know,
Now we're
but
saying
what it is, it's
everything.
hard, yeah, but that was, I wanted to give, we have to review the minutes approve the minutes from the last meeting. So let me take that out. Can you see that? Can you see my minutes? No?
Yes, we could see it.
Okay, fine. All right. So we had a presentation by Grown NYC, and there was a stop and swap. They're looking for space. Jean, I don't know if they reached out to you. You said that maybe Tracy Towers might be a possibility for a stop and swap. I'm not sure if that happened. I'll follow up with them.
No, I didn't hear from anyone.
Okay, I'll just nudge Maeve McGee and Isabel and see what they think. I think they were thinking of more the Williamsburg Oval Park, much larger space, but we'll see. They talked about the farm stand and that you can now bring your compost to their farm stands on Thursdays from 9 to 2. We had some updates from DEP. New York State is offering assistance for delinquent water bills, rain barrel giveaways. People are to contact CB7's office for that, and the hiring of garden maintenance workers. We had a discussion of the summary of the RAD Academy that Helene attended, and that there are subsequent trainings ongoing through, I believe, the end of June. And then we had a motion on a letter to City Council. Can I get a motion to accept the minutes as they are, or are there any changes? Anyone want?
I motion to accept the meeting. I mean, accept the minutes, sorry.
Okay, can I get a second?
Seconded.
Thank you. That's Rosalie?
Yes, it is. Hi.
Okay, hi, thank you. Okay. All right, so let me take that down and we go back to the agenda.
Can we pass the minutes if we don't have a quorum?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Can we pass the minutes if we don't have a quorum?
You can pass the minutes, but you can't make any motions.
Right, and we
Okay.
can do that, yeah. It's actions such as, making motions that we can't do, so,
Okay,
okay? Thank you. All right, so now, We have the agenda. Let me go back to the agenda. And if I can find the agenda now. Sorry, folks, you'll have to bear with me. Okay, here we go. Agenda for today. Okay, so let me get this a smaller version. Okay, so we're gonna start with, if there's any follow-up from anyone, have any, I just want, there was no follow-up from the previous month that I'm aware of, except for one thing. And I had mentioned this at the general board meeting. We had a community member who had concerns about a dirty lot on Decatur Avenue, and attempts to contact and to work with DSNY to get it cleaned up didn't happen, only because it is a private lot, and there's a lot of bureaucracy before a city agency can go on private property and clean it up. So Cirio Guarino took it upon himself. I think he contacted, the super from the building next door that has keys to the lot, and went in and cleaned it. It is clean for now, but it's still an issue. And so we're gonna need to follow up, see who the owner is of that property, and that they do a better job of keeping that space clean. And that was a good thing that happened. So, so we're going to have someone from DEP. I'm gonna let DEP take on Effie, and you said John McLaughlin, Effie?
Hey, yeah, John McLaughlin will be presenting on the DEP portion. John, are you on?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Hi,
Okay,
John,
great.
welcome. Okay, so you have a presentation you want to share this, set it up on the screen? John or Effie?
I thought the presentation was mailed to the community or emailed to the community.
Oh,
board.
we do have it. We do have it. Let me see if I can bring it up. I don't know if Carla is still on. Carla, you still with me?
Yes, I'm still here.
I know
Yeah.
that you sent it, and I have it. Is that the link that I? Make sure, let me see.
It's not the link on the agenda. I sent
Oh.
an updated agenda.
Okay. That's the same one that was, that you sent. Okay, let me pull it up. Let me see, can I stop sharing? I want to stop sharing.
Yeah, Effie, I don't know if you have the standalone version.
I don't have it available right now.
Okay, I'll let me see if I can find it. Sorry, folks.
Oh, no, but I should have. I'm actually doing it from my phone.
No, I hear
so
you. Okay, no problem. I think I have it someplace. Carla, you sent it to me, right? As part of the whole package, right? Just want to make sure.
Yes, I sent it in an email today.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sharing it in the chat as well.
Oh, you have it in the chat? Let me go to the chat then. Okay. Okay, now I have it. I need to share this. Can I share it? Carla?
Yes, I can no longer share it because you're the host now.
Okay. Is that it? Everybody see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay,
I can see it.
okay, very good. Okay, folks. All right, go ahead, John.
Okay. Yeah. If I could just, I'll say next slide. But no, I
Yeah.
don't know, how many folks are familiar with the department's green infrastructure program for capturing stormwater. Yeah, it's a program that's designed to reduce combined sewer overflows. And that's simply, when it rains, stormwater mixes with sanitary flow. And if the capacity of the sewage treatment plants is exceeded, that very dilute mixture of stormwater and sanitary goes into a nearby water body. So this program is designed to keep stormwater out of the system to increase the sanitary capacity and the capacity that goes to the wastewater treatment plants. The rainfall event that we designed it for is a 1.25 inch rainfall, and that's the 90th percentile of rain events that occur in New York City. That simply means 1.25 and less represent 90% of all storms in an average year. I mean, it doesn't take into account tropical systems or hurricanes, but on an average rain event, that's the 90th percentile. And the project contains elements that we're not building, but it does contain elements that, should additional funding come from the community, certain other amenities could be included with it. And I'll get into that as we, as we continue. The site, based on its tributary area, and that 1.25 inch rainfall can capture the 14,000 gallons, or a little more than 14,000 gallons on every rain event. Construction cost is about $350. There's a metric that we use. It's called the greened acre cost, and we want that number to be around $600,000. That makes it, a cost-effective practice in capturing stormwater. And this one, is, just at that, near that 600,000 range. So that's good. And
I'm sorry, John, I think we need to at least clarify where this is at.
okay, yeah, that's coming. I'm just giving the back. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right, okay.
Background. Just tell me to shut up. All
No, it's okay.
right, then go to the next slide. This is where it's at. It's at the intersection of Sedgwick and Dickinson Avenue, near Moshulu Parkway. I think it's at St. Anthony's that's across the street, or that's in that area. Along Dickinson, I think that's
Isn't that, I think it's St. Patrick's.
I'm sorry, St. Patrick's. Okay,
Right.
yeah. So it's that green triangle that's across the street from that,
Mhm.
and that is DEP property. It took us a while to figure out why, but it is when they were building the water supply system, and the Jerome Park Reservoir is just, you see it in the lower half of the image. In case any infrastructure had to go in there, that's why that property was purchased. But it just remains in a green state with informal trails that kind of go through the site now, and that's why part of the elements we included, but we can't build because the DEP funding can only do the stormwater capture because it's using water rate funding, and that funding is very clear that it can be only used to meet stormwater capture, treating of sanitary flow, providing drinking water. So it's very clear in those requirements. But now I'll show you some of those other elements as we go down. So everybody knows now where the site is?
Okay.
Oh, okay. The next slide. And that's just simply the practice will be capturing street runoff that's coming down Moshulu Parkway and a few other streets. And in this one, we've actually enhanced it by bringing water from also the other side of the street and bringing it in, so we could increase the capture and increase the cost effectiveness of the project. But the next slides will show it, but the practice is going in that lower right-hand corner. There we go. And it's a vegetated swale that's capturing stormwater runoff and bring it in there. The plants we use are all native, indigenous to the region, so they provide great habitat for wildlife and pollinators. Also we're very mindful that folks need to, access from the street into the site. So there's a pedestrian pathway that bisects the practice, and you'll see a more detailed cross section later. Then also, it does have we want to protect it, so it does have a stockade fence, and a stockade fence is simply a timber rail fence, and I think the next slide shows that. Right, there's a rendering of what it will look like. That's you see the pedestrian path from the sidewalk that gets you into that triangle, but also does not limit the volume capture of water, because below that is a depression that will capture that water. So I think that's it on that slide. And if there's any horticultural people on the call, these are just some of the shrubs and vegetation that we intend to use. Again, these are all native to the region, and they have been pre-European settlement, so they're well adapted to our climate. They flower when birds are migrating. They flower when insects are migrating, particularly the monarch butterfly. Because I believe there should be, if it's not listed here, we don't list every plant, but there's a plant that the monarch butterfly, it's almost its sole food source, and that's the milkweed.
Yeah.
And there's the common milkweed that grows more in dry sites. There's swamp milkweed and green milkweed, which do better in wetter locations. So that will be part of this plant palette. So in addition to stormwater capture, it's also a very good wildlife habitat, good aesthetic qualities. So we're trying to certainly improve that little corner of the site.
Okay.
And I think,
Okay.
is there another slide?
There's a slide, future community improvements.
Okay, right. These are the things that we included in the design and the estimated cost, but we can't fund it because, like as I mentioned, this is based on water and sewer rates. But this is the total cost to formalize a gravel pathway instead of folks just making a desire line on top of the grass.
Mhm.
This would be a defined path that gets you there across from St. Patrick's.
Mhm.
So the cars don't park on the grass. We could place curbs. Not we do it, but curb stops could be placed there, so the cars do not encroach upon the vegetation. And then we would also reseed, or that area could be reseeded to remove the old ruts and other erosion from the cars previously parking in that area. So again, if the community board can find this funding from any source, we can certainly include it in the construction package. So it wouldn't have to be a separate construction effort. It could be included as we build the rain garden, but again, we can't fund it.
Mhm.
So it does make it a more complete package if it's done in one shot.
Okay. And that's it. Okay, those are the only ones. Okay, thank you, John.
Any questions, or I'm not sure how the protocol is, but
We'll open it now to questions. Let me go back to, see anybody in the chat. Does okay, Lowell? Go ahead.
Yeah, when he talks about the car parking area, is there any way that we can ask the traffic department to repave this area?
that's we certainly could help you with that request in doing so. I know they did some repaving around the area. I mean, this is a strange one, but it's actually, I believe DEP owns a portion of the street, So, but we would have to get DOT to pave, since, DEP does not have any ability to pave streets, but we will certainly support the community board's efforts in making that request and providing support for it.
Just to clarify, is all of this in CB7? This is CB7 or CB8? This project? Anybody know?
It should be in 7,
No, it's CB8, I believe.
All of it? Is that Effie? All of it
Yeah.
is in CB8?
I believe so. I'll double check tomorrow, but I believe it's CB8.
So it'd be CB8 to have to ask for all this, and maybe we do have someone from CB8, or someone from that who can maybe provide some. I mean, I requested that this be put on because I thought a portion of it was in CB7.
Karen Argenti chatted saying it's on the other CB7 on the other side.
Thank you, Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do these improvements would help also CB7 on our side, right? Is that possible? I mean, I don't want to like belabor this if it's really CB8 side, but there's a fine line here between at this point. So we have the water is coming from the Mashawu Parkway, and that is in CB7. Thank you. Okay, so, thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah, our apologies then. I mean, we would just, again, we were just informed that this was, placed on the community board's agenda, so we weren't quite sure, but we just wanted to accommodate.
Okay, all right, that's good. Thank you very much. It's very helpful. No,
You're welcome.
thank you very, very much. Does anybody else have questions? Okay, I
I have
apologize.
one question, Betty.
Hold on, yeah, go ahead, Chief.
When he's saying that this is capturing the stormwater, so when we have these very heavy rains up and down the parkway, which used to flood up because the leaves and stuff from the trees get in there. So this water, this storm water, is what you're capturing and separating it from, say, sewage water?
Correct.
Okay.
So that, again, I want to be clear, depending on the intensity of the rainfall, they're not designed to control flooding. But when this is done citywide, on a citywide basis, it does remove stormwater from the sewer system, which gives it greater capacity to handle, what it was designed for.
Mhm.
So it's certainly that this practice can handle a 1.25 inch rainfall. As I said, that represents 90% of all rainfall events, excluding.
What do you do with this water after you capture it?
I'm sorry, what?
What do you do with this storm water after you capture it?
Oh,
Are you storing it? Or are you just putting it into the river, the ocean? What are you doing with it?
It prior to doing the designing the practice, we do, geotech borings or soil borings, where we determine, the depth, to groundwater, what the infiltration rate is of the soil. And, this was, determined to be acceptable, that met the requirements for infiltration. So the stormwater comes in and simply infiltrates into the ground.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other committee members have questions before I open it up to the public? Roxanne?
Yes, Betty, thank you so much. I'm a public member. I actually reside in Queen Board 11, but I was very interested in this presentation because you have done this project on Pelham Parkway. And I just wanted to give some feedback and ask some further questions. First, the feedback is that I have seen contractors maintaining these green infrastructure with leaf blowers and actually blow the trash onto the sidewalk or the streets. And leaf blowers are not that environmentally friendly. So I was wondering if that could be looked into. And second, I do love your choice of plants there. I love them. Especially, we have planted chokeberries in Pelham Parkway ourselves for the birds and the butterflies and bees. But besides that, I'd like to mention that unfortunately, Pelham Parkway, they switched the parking to vertical. So now we have all the exhaust from the tailpipes onto all the plants. I'm not sure that's going to be detrimental to their survival for this season, for this year. Any feedback on that, please?
Yeah, I'll certainly look into the leaf blowers. I mean, I totally agree. That is not very sustainable
Mhm.
practice. If anything, they should just be using manual labor, hand rakes
Correct.
and
Correct.
that sort. If you give me a specific location on Pelham Parkway, I can certainly look into it, because you're right, that should not be occurring.
Awesome.
Um,
I have took pictures of it. So I could also send pictures of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
If you can, John, if you can put your email in the chat, so Roxanne can follow up with you, or to whatever, however it's done, so you can get that information. Appreciate it.
Right. It's probably best, I think, Effie, if everything went through.
Effie? Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I know Roxanne, and I'm familiar with the Pelham Parkway project. Everything, just please send it to my email. Roxanne, you should have that information.
Yes, I do have your email.
Okay.
Thank you.
You can do that. Thank you very much. Okay.
But I'm just wondering, how about the exhaust from tailpipes in general for any of these plants? If the cars are idling or if there's vertical parking, does the exhaust do damage or harm the plants in any manner, in any way?
It does if it's over a long period of time. If it's just vertical parking and someone gets in their car and starts it and pulls away, that's generally less harmful. But if it is sitting there a long time and they are idling, and I should point out that if they're idling more than 3 minutes, that's against
Right.
the law. So
Yeah.
I would encourage folks to take any video. If anyone's doing that, then it's determined that it's, all the requirements are met, you would receive half that fine. Whatever is collected, the person receives half that fine.
Okay,
So,
great.
yeah,
Thank you.
short answer is yes, it can be harmful.
All right.
Okay.
But thank you so
Alrighty.
much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry, Jean, you still have your hand up. You have another question?
No,
Jean?
I'm sorry, I forgot to take it down. Let me.
Okay. Eric?
Hi, thank you, Betty. I have a question about the location. Why that specific little bit of land on this big island, green island? So is the island also owned by DEP?
Yes, as I mentioned, the land was purchased, during the construction of the water supply system. And your question is a great question. The reason it's there, there is infrastructure that is beneath that, and so we couldn't plant or do anything above it. I realize there's trees and grass, but in terms of placing a structure or this type of facility, could not be placed over that existing infrastructure. So that's why it's in that corner. But it does capture, it is about a half-acre watershed. So it is a large watershed, and it's in a highly visible section. But that's the reason why it's in that corner.
Okay. No, I was just wondering in terms of the location, because you do have 2 other green islands next to this location that if you guys were not looking to redo the whole island, that could have been used maybe for this process instead of obstructing, or are you trying to manage the pedestrian use of crossing here?
No, the pedestrian crossing is an added amenity, but the project itself is designed to capture stormwater. Again, are you saying there's additional islands nearby that you think something like this would be also appropriate?
Right. I mean, like if you look at your map, you have a green island that has like a sidewalk that has no longer any use because of the traffic pattern that has been changed. So I'm just wondering why that particular spot and not do something with a bigger impact on one of the other islands, even the island that divides Moshulu Parkway South and the parkway itself.
I could look into that. I don't have the answer off the top of my head as to why. I mean, there may be, I'm looking at the image here and I see the island to the right. I can't tell. I mean, the topography may be incorrect. I think the contours go from right to left, meaning the high point is on the right. So that's one reason, why. I mean, no, you want to place the practice at the low point. So I believe on the right-hand side, at least, that's going uphill.
Right, that is going uphill.
Yeah, so that's why we couldn't place it on that side, because we couldn't get, all these practices have to go, strictly by gravity. We don't want to pump it up a hill because that requires.
No, I'm not talking about that particular. I'm talking about the one right between the two streets where the fork on the street happens.
Okay, I see that. Yeah, I don't have an answer off the top of my head, but again, I can get information to Effie as to why that wasn't considered.
Right.
Okay. It's a good question. Okay, and maybe that's something to be considered to looking at other parts of the parkway further south on the CB7 side, if there's anything there. Has that been looked at all?
No. I mean, we're always open to new locations. What is preferred, though, I mean, we can't do it on private property because that sets up other.
Right.
But on Parks property, like I manage the Parks portfolio citywide. So if there are opportunities on Parks property, we are certainly open to doing more of these along that.
All right, we'll look into.
Yeah, this will be great along where the intersection of the Grand Concourse and Moshulu is, because there's always a big puddle of water there in one of the planting areas where the water seems to come from, I don't know where.
Right.
And just coming down the hill, and it just kind of puddles there at that intersection.
Yeah, there might be something to that on the other side, on the north side of the Moshulu Parkway. We've had a lot of time. Which means either this will either help, or we need to look at the other side to see what can be done on that side. So we'll look into that, and we'll share our thoughts with Effie and possibly see if it can be done.
Great.
All right, let me move on. Marilyn,
I'm sorry, can I have another question, please?
who is this?
Roxanne.
Roxanne, I really need to move the agenda. Okay, if you have a question, put it in the chat and we'll follow up. I need to give other people.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Marilyn?
Yes, thank you, Betty. I was just wondering, just off the top of my head, all this talk about storm runoff water versus, sanitary water, and, all this talk about water and stuff. There's no way that unsanitary water can contaminate the water or drinking water in the Norwood community, is there?
No, this would be totally separate from the sanitary system. There is no way that the sanitary could enter the system. No, it's completely separate. We're taking it right off the surface before.
No, the only reason I ask is because many times, I find that the water coming out of the faucets has a strange smell. And I even called it in one time to 311, and the DEP called me back and assured me that that the water was safe. But so that's why I asked, if there's any way that the storm, the unsanitary water can mix in with Norwood's drinking water, or or bathing water or everyday use water, you know?
That was
No,
covered, yeah, no, we covered that, Marilyn.
Oh,
We
yes.
gave a presentation a couple of,
Oh.
around the time of, Effie, when was it, around the fall, when that usually
Yeah,
happens?
usually when we get those, taste complaints for water quality taste and issues, and when we add more croton into the system, and people can pick up, they're sensitive to that change in the water distribution.
Okay, but
Yeah.
it's safe, right? Everything's okay.
Sure.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
it. Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay,
Thank
thank you. All right, anyone else? If not, we're going to move on, to participants. Who, okay. Okay, Serial, go ahead.
Hi, good evening. Could we scroll down back to the planting that they're gonna put in?
Right here. Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm interested in the heavy metal switchgrass. Oh, could you explain what that is? Is that to take heavy metal from the water?
no,
Or
no, no,
just a-
no, that's what's known as a cultivar. It has nothing to do with chemistry. It just means it has a very different color in the fall. It has nothing to do with chemistry. It's just that is the name given to it in the nursery trade.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. The question that Roxanne has, and I'm gonna leave it at that, is the issue of you're not planting trees in this area, as opposed to just the plants that you mentioned. Trees are not being considered.
Not in this particular one, no, but I did read in the chat, Roxanne's comment that
Mhm.
yes, trees certainly are a stormwater absorber. But given these plants, they can transpire also at a very high rate. And there's evaporation that goes on, in addition to the infiltration. What happens over time, if you place a tree there, as the tree grows, it does cast shade, and then you just simply end up with it could be a beautiful tree, but you end up with a limited understory because the plants are now in the shade. So this ensures that it always remains flowering and has another quality to it all along.
Great, okay. All right. No other questions? Serial, you still have a question? Your hand is up. You're on mute.
Sorry.
Okay, all right. All right, thank you, John.
You're more than welcome.
Okay, and we'll follow up on some other possibilities, as this is something that we want to see in other parts of CB7, especially on the Mashua Parkway, where we are experiencing we get a lot of flooding. And I don't know if, like I said, this project would be appropriate for that as well, to help with that as well. But this is very, very helpful, and good luck with this.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I should add the estimated schedule. This should, we have various construction contracts going into procurement. This should probably begin procurement, sometime next spring or later this fall. So we could begin installation sometime next late spring or early summer. And these things only take, when I say construction, that's kind of the wrong term, but the installation, this can be completed in about 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, okay. Mhm. All right, sounds good. Thank you very much. I'm gonna stop sharing back to everybody here. Thank you, folks, for your questions and your comments. We're gonna move on. Effie, are there any other updates from DEP that you would like to share with the community board?
I did send a press release. DEP is proposing a 4.90% increase for the fiscal year 2023 water rate to the New York City Water Board. The proposed rate increase is subject to review and approval by the Water Board. We have 2 scheduled hearings via conference call. I sent that all in the press release.
Okay,
and,
I'll look for it and put it in the
Yeah.
chat. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yesterday or the day before. If you need any information, just let me know.
Okay. Okay, I'm not too thrilled to hear about that, but
Right, it is an increase, but it, like I said, the Water Board will meet and consider and vote on that new rate on around June 1st, I believe,
I'll put that in the chat following, while we have another presentation, I'll put that information in the chat. So thank you. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Karen Argenti. Karen, you with us?
Yes. Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm Karen Argenti. I just wanted to give you a little background about that project. A couple of years ago, I think it was around 2014, 2015, there was groups of community groups from the area who were working on stormwater and CSO problems. And so one of the ideas were that there was some extra money that the Riverkeeper had, and they said, well, let's put it together and design a program. And so the amalgamated area was that little tiny triangle next to this other triangle. And it seemed like it was sort of like a click, and very hilly and lots of water, just like all the rest of the places. And they developed what they called the Hilltop Project. One of them was to look at this particular triangle that John just explained, all the stuff that is done. And that one was, an example was we would put like a green infrastructure there. The whole idea was to find places to place infrastructure in a small little area, a neighborhood, not too big, it had schools, it had parks, it had, all these things. We never really got any further than the DEP project, but I look at it as a model for how we can get green infrastructure in other parts wherever there is flooding. And it would be, I think, a great thing if we could convince the city agencies that, they go at it from the basis of a neighborhood, and, just walk around and say where you need it. You can tell, you can see where the erosion is. We're all very familiar with what's happening out in the street. And so that's one of the things that I wanted to let you know about.
Okay, thank you.
And when I looked at the map, I knew that half of the street, the other side of the street, was in Board 7, and I thought this would be a great opportunity to discuss it with you all so that you could ask for green infrastructure at every single point in anything that comes up. And BCQ has started this group called Green Infrastructure Advocates. We will help people learn. We can learn together how to put it in, where it goes, how do you do it. There's some ways of doing it. There's the DP way, which is a big project, but as many of us know, with gardening and stuff, you could do a lot with a green infrastructure type facility. I don't have that presentation today, but there's a lot of different things. There's something called Soak Up the Rain, and that's in up in the Boston area, and they have identified ways of taking care of the runoff. I think Marshall Parkway is in great need of green infrastructure. There's a lot of flooding, as you all know, on there, and also not only is it 2 community woods, but it's also 2 subcatchment basins. And so that will take me to my next topic. So they break up the area into sub-watersheds. They were the sub-watersheds and they became the sewer sheds. And those are the pipes that are under the ground that takes the runoff and the sewage, because they're combined, down into the nearest river, which in our case is the Harlem River. So there's the big one, which is 056, and I will talk to you about that in terms of the daylighting project. But there's also this big one another big one, the second big one, which we call the long and skinny, which is I think 066 or something like that. And that goes all the way down to the Bronx Kill, goes right straight through the Bronx. And so Marshall Parkway is in the other one. and the Grove is in the 056. So it's like the ridge, so to speak, and which is kind of interesting. So I would like, can I share?
Yeah, you definitely can.
Okay, so I would like to just talk to you all about the daylighting project and how it affects Community Board 7. There is the part in Community Board 7 in Van Cortlandt Park because it's joint interest area. So it affects Board 7, 8, and 12. And so there's all that stuff that's happening in the park. As you might know, it overflows tremendously during big rainstorms. It is surrounded by 4 major highways. It gets 65% of the rain is coming from waterfall is coming from Westchester in the Tibbetts Brook Park that's above it. And it's just really a mess. The work that the DEP is planning on doing with the Parks Department is really quite essential. I'm not going into that. I'm just describing it for you.
Okay.
So here is the area that is in Ward 7. And these are my pictures. We had the occasion of the Riverkeeper took us on a little boat ride on the Holm River. This is the outfall for 056. Here it is from the land. You could see this is the other side of Manhattan. And this is Fordham Landing. We could never get into Fordham Landing, but now you can get in and you can walk around. It's not really very appealing, but you can do it. And this is a picture that I took from the fence overlooking at 225th Street. And this is what the Metro North looks like, which whatever you think, it doesn't look any good. You know, it's like a big mess. We'll come back to that. So BCQ is a 50-year-old community organization. We are made up of volunteers. We have no staff, and we have done a whole bunch of work on the Harlem River. So as I said, our first goal is to lower the discharge to 056, because right now the water from the lake, when it overflows, it goes into this like waterfall, but we call it a weir, and that goes directly into the sewer on Broadway. That probably doesn't have enough room in it for all of the water that's coming from all of the highways and from Westchester County and then from all of our highways. And that's why there's a lot of flooding down there. So the daylighting of Tibbetts Brook is a project of the long-term control plan, which is an EPA way of taking care of making the water clean. That's the goal. And so one of the projects is finally, the DEP put it into their budget as the long-term control plan, the daylighting of Tibbetts Brook. And we want to make sure that we end up with an environmental greenway all along the CSX property. But meanwhile, I just wanted to let you know that BCQ did, and many of you might remember, we did a BOA, a Brownfield Opportunity Area grant. It's a planning grant along the Harlem River. We were the first group to raise enough money to do a study. Because we got up to the second step on that BOA, the city Parks Department was able to do a watershed plan. And so they did a watershed plan, which actually is a great plan. And I can send you the link.
Yes.
It shows where you could put green. It identifies places to put green infrastructure all in the watershed, which Community Board 7 is part of. And so you can go there and look and see where they came up, you know, in public areas. There's other places where we could put it, but they identified areas where you could do that. And then there's the long-term control plan, which is just study that the DEP did. And many years ago, Parks Department also did a little study about what to do with all the water in Van Cortlandt Park. So here's Community Board 7, and here's Van Cortlandt Park. Here's Van Cortlandt Park. This is Westchester, which, as you can see, has all that stuff. And here is the district. Over here is where, this is 225th Street, and over here is the Harlem River. We know about this. We got Fordham Landing, and then we have the La Salle property on the other side, which, as you know, has been around for like a billion years since I was the chair of the community board. So what is daylighting? This is, if you're walking Van Cortlandt Park and you go to the end of the lake, You can walk across this area here. That's called the dam. That's the dam that holds the water from going over. And this is, you can't even see the dam. That's how far the water went, right up over the lake and over the dam. This is the Westchester part. This is the Bronx line. And this is the new part that would get daylighted if we took it out of the sewer line. Here's a really old map that somebody put together to where the Tibbets used to go. And it was like Marble Hill was all flooded. This was Spuyten Duyvil. You know, there's a whole bunch of things. So it was just always a wet area. It doesn't include Westchester. So this is a project overview. So here's the Putnam Trail that comes through Van Cortlandt Park. That's been mostly completed. It stops at the bottom of the lake here. And so the area from the bottom of the lake to Van Cortlandt Park South, and all this here, which is along the Major Deegan Expressway, is going to be a water feature and a greenway. And then at 225th, actually it goes to 230th Street because the city of New York, here's the bigger map. The city of New York had a ULURP that went to 230th Street. So here's 225th Street. From 230th Street south to the Harlem River, it's not going to be above ground. It's going to be back underground. They don't have permission to do that at this particular point. So from here, from the outside the park to 230th Street in Community Board 8, they're going to be having a water feature and a bike and walking path. And there'll be maybe three access points from Broadway or whatever the streets are to get to the Greenway. So Board 7 is the part that's south of 225th Street. And that's also Metro North, and Metro North is not allowing that to be above ground. They say that they're using this area, which I took that picture, and the area from 230th to 225th Street for their services and also, you know, whatever else they want to use. They still have that old building that's some kind of a electrical thing. And this is the new area that Dynamic Star is going to do something with. I just made an approximate line. I don't know. It could be that it comes to here. I know it's like 192nd Street, so I just eyeballed that. And here's the pictures again. So this is, you know, looking out of the fence from south of 225th Street. And this is the area where the outfall is 056. This is what it looks like from the water. But it's not just daylighting, it's also the Empire State Greenway. So this is very interesting. So the Empire State Greenway goes from Lower Manhattan all the way up to Canada. And of course you can go to Buffalo because you just make a left. But what happens is it's down here at the bottom of Manhattan, and it comes up and it goes over the Broadway Bridge. And then it wiggles around in the streets all over the place and eventually makes it into Van Cortlandt Park, and then travels from like Broadway at Van Cortlandt Park over to the Putnam and goes north. And this trail goes all the way to Albany. And so here's the like little uneven ridges, you know, but it doesn't have to do that. It could actually go, oh, what happened to my map? I must have cut it out. It could actually go, oh, here it is, this line, this blue line. It could actually go along the Harlem River straight down. Right now that it's just going to go to here with the daylighting project, but then we're trying to get the rest of the Harlem River along the water's edge to be a greenway. And that would connect you to many bridges going into Manhattan, also going into Queens, Long Island, you know, and that's my project. So I also wanted to let you know that we have a web page, and in there we have front page news right on the first page. Like about the stories is treat rain like a natural resource. We throw it away. We think it's stormwater, but if it goes right into the ground, it's rain. and it's a natural resource. We have all of the projects from Community Board 7 that are on the Harlem River listed there, if you want to take a look at it. And then we have a whole bunch of other things. And these are some of our events that we're doing. I just got, so we have this Greenway tour, but it's really for boards 4 and 5. They're going to do bikes and walking at the same time. One day, maybe. It's very hard to do a Greenway tour of the board 7 or 8 because you can't get to the Greenway. We have a meeting with Manhattan College. The students are coming and they're going to talk about what a study that they did on environmental studies. And then we have the canoe mobiles are coming on June 6th and 7th. And we also have Steve Duncan, who was the guy who did all that underground looks at and created that map. And he's going to give a little bit of discussion about where everything is in Tibbetts Brook, like underneath the ground, a little walking tour. People could go on it if they like. And then we have an annual meeting in June 8th. I could send all that stuff. I'm putting together a newsletter.
Yeah, you can put that, this presentation can be put it in the chat. You can do it. Karen?
Yeah, I could. I don't have it online, so.
Oh, okay, fine. All right. I'll send it, send it to me.
Carla has it. Carla has it.
Okay, okay.
And I'll
all
send
right.
it to you also. I can send it.
Okay. Anyone have questions for Karen? I have one question. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Please, I'll wait till you're finished.
Who's that, Roxanne?
Yes.
Okay, Roxanne, wait until committee members.
No, that's why I said I'll wait till you're finished. That was my thing.
Okay, so Karen, remember isn't there someone looking to purchase all that property along CSX? How does that affect this?
This thing here is purchased. This is the property, the Dynamic Store.
Okay, that's what it's called. I thought they had gone further north, but it's off of Fordham Landing, right?
Yeah, it's Fordham Landing. I don't have it here.
And going south, right? Fordham Landing.
So Fordham Landing is down here.
Mm-hmm.
It just ends here by Target.
Okay, so
So
that's
like one of the things is we can't get, since we're not going to be able to get the Greenway going into Metro North at 230th Street, the bicyclists have to come out and meander on the streets. And one of the things we were trying to do is talk to Target and see if they have a road that goes behind the building. Maybe we could get them to let people take that and get onto the Harlem River. But it's such a big story. It's like, it's very difficult to do. I mean, we should like focus on it, like the community board needs to focus on it.
okay. Well, we'll have to get back to that because I don't know what happened to that whole, where that's at. I mean, it seems like it's a major deal, but we're not.
Yeah, they have project. They want to put housing here.
Right. I know there are a bunch
Yeah.
of things they want to do there.
And
Okay.
stuff for stuff on the water and they haven't come up with their project yet. They're still
Right.
get through city planning.
Right. Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, any questions from any other community?
Yeah, I had a quick question too, because that
Go
is that area down from Fordham Hill that's
Right.
been in contention for a while. There's a park on the other side of that. And then you go down to that area where they have a lot of trucking and stuff like that is over there.
I don't have the bridge here. I always get the wrong map. I can't believe it.
Yeah, because as you come across the bridge, coming across Fordham, and then you make that right turn and you cut into it, and then you like go down like a little hill and you go around. We've done a bus ride over there, Betty, if you remember.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying that was the that was my question about the
Yeah, about the housing, because they're supposed to be building this housing unit. Fordham Hill has been in contention because they feel that they will block off their view of the water.
Yeah.
Then there's a small park adjacent to it on the right side.
Yeah,
And
like
the
a
park is
basketball
supposed
court.
to stay. Yeah, it's supposed
Yeah.
to stay over there.
Yeah,
And then they've been talking about this for a minute now, going back and forth about what they actually going to do. At one
Right.
point, they were supposed to have a plan. So now they won't let you use that section over there because they technically own the whole thing.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
then you're trying to skate around past Target.
Yeah, I mean, I think Metro North, I mean, I think we need to talk to them, and I've been trying to reach them. I had we had an occasion to write a letter of support for, and you guys should know about this. They want to put, the MTA wants to put a substation at 225th Street at Broadway. And I don't know where they want to put it. They say they have to have it within 200 feet. So to me, I don't see anything there. But I did get to talk to the MTA people, and I said, okay, well, we want to talk to you about how we can't get on this property. I mean, why can't we get on? I mean, we're not asking for a whole bunch. We're asking for, like, I don't know, 20 feet, 30 feet wide, and nobody's using it really seriously. I went and I took pictures. There's nothing happening there. They're just, like, you can see it. It's behind you. It's behind me. It's just a mess. And when I spoke to some of the people who have something to do with Target, I have the contact with the Target people, and they were like, yeah. I said, well, how do you deal with it? You like the way this looks? And they're like, no. I said, well, I don't know. If you think people want to live next to this, I don't want to live next to this. Like, how can you build housing there?
Okay.
They were also supposed to have a thoroughway where you were supposed to be able to cross from that section
Right.
back over
Right.
and come over to the other side. So what happened with that?
Well,
So if they can do that for that, why they can't do what you want to do?
I know. I know that. But when I went down and I took that picture from the at the water on this site at 056, and I looked up to see where the bridge would come. Like, it's low, and then there's the Major Deegan, and then above that is the land, where Bailey Avenue is. And I'm like, oh, this is going to cost a fortune. You got to go across the Major Deegan, you got to cross the train, you have to stop all those things in order to get the thing to go across. I mean, it's like, that's going to cost somebody a lot of money. So yeah, I agree. And that's why I spoke to Target. I said, well, don't you want to be good neighbors with all of us? We'd like to be able to get to the water and safely, and just even in the interim, and I think we can talk to them about it. I think this is why I wanted to come to the board, so you guys would know, like, what's happening and how we have to work together on it. It's, we have all the studies that the community board did, and all of them are sitting on our webpage. So, we can share them with everybody. They're right there. It's just a link away.
Yeah. Well, I think that's this is a good starting point for at least going into, since June will be our last meeting, but then going into September, these are kinds of actions that I think I'd like
Right.
our committee to get involved in, really doing that kind of work on the environmental side of things, besides sanitation. So I'm grateful for your input and the help that you're doing for the neighborhood. So thank you.
I'll put the link. I'll put the link for the our webpage in the
And I put the presentation. I put the presentation in the chat as well.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Yep,
okay.
I
All right.
did. Okay.
All right, that was nice. So I'll put it in so that if people want to go and look on our webpage, they can look
Yeah, sign up and help and be part of the solution.
Yeah, I mean, you can lead too, we're all volunteers.
Right, exactly.
We're not leading, we're just, we want to be there for everybody.
Sure. Roxanne, you had a question or comment? Roxanne? Okay, she may have left. I thought I saw her. She was there before.
Hi there.
Yeah, she's here.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm saying, I guess it's a half question, half comment, but my question, doesn't this result in less park space? This proposal, and second, this extending these greenways is just opening the door for all these motorbikes and e-bikes are becoming a hassle in our parks, which are actually deterring people from the enjoyment of the green spaces. So what they did with the Putnam Trail was awful. It was a disgrace. So I'm just wondering, this proposal, does it mean less green spaces or they're expanding green spaces?
Well, they are expanding the green space because they have this whole new piece of land. It's like, I think it's 3/4 mile. So some places it's 25 feet, some places it's 50 feet. So they're going to expand it. I mean, we are talking about rules and stuff. I mean, the High Line has rules. When you go to the High Line, there's this giant big piece of paper, metal thing that tells you all the rules of what you should do over there. And of course, nobody's letting them ride those things on the High Line. Why can't we do the same thing? You know, we should not be happy with agencies that can't do the job that needs to be done. We need to get them to do more.
Okay. The issue of these scooters is something that, you know, is a bigger issue, and I don't think that having green space is going to, I don't think that is going to be as big an issue as just trying to get all this done in our lifetimes, I hope.
Yeah, so the daylighting project is moving like really fast.
Oh,
They
good.
have
Okay.
meetings, and they're supposed to be like doing the bid like in, like, I don't know, 2 years, and then they'll start doing, they have phases, so they'll start doing some work in the park, I guess, first, and then, you know, see how far we get. But it's moving along, and you guys, that the DP and Parks Department has a group called the Tibbetts Advisory Group, and I can send you that link also. You can sign up and you could find out about the meetings that are being held for the stakeholders. We did a tour. We did a walking tour of the sites to have access to it, and they have a whole bunch of presentations that they're going to make, and they probably should make presentations to your board as well.
We'll see that. Okay, we'll check it out. Send me the information and we'll follow up.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll forward you an email that I have.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you for your time, everyone.
Thank you. I'm going to move along. It's 8:21. DSNY, Steve Caruso could not be with us this evening, but he sent some updates. They're in the chat, and we'll follow up. You can review them, look them over, and questions can be posed to him in June for a June meeting. They include the new commissioner for DSNY, Jessica Tisch, collections for large items, procedures for that, waste management plan, new street cleaning initiatives that are going on, and improving waste collection in public space, a pilot that's going to take place. So again, look those over. This old information, as you know, these meetings are now on YouTube, so you'll be able to follow up with that information there, and if not, we will also have this posted on our website. So with that said, I don't have anything further to add. Anyone have anything they need to bring up at this time? Just checking. Anyone? No? Okay. So I'm going to request the next meeting. Oh, I'm sorry, Chad. Yes, Chad.
Hi, Betty. I just wanted to say that the Rat Academy training that I saw for the second time today was awesome.
Good.
And it's a good thing to educate the community on the do's and don'ts with rat mitigation.
Mm-hmm.
I also learned today that, you can actually report standing water that's still in like a puddle.
Mm-hmm.
You could actually report that to 311 and they'll file a complaint for it.
Okay. I think on the Rat Academy, I mean, I had considered using a committee meeting to show the training, but it's very long. It's about 45 minutes. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to review it again and see if I can extract like the major components. I mean, Helene did a good job, but I think I want to put something in writing so that people can follow up. And I mean, I really recommend that people, check out that Rat Academy, because the do's and don'ts are really very critical to try to mitigate, the rat population. Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it.
Good job.
Great, great. All
That
right,
was my son, sorry.
all right. Thank you. Our next meeting will be, I haven't even thought about the next meeting yet, will be June the 1st. And at 7 o'clock, and DSNY will be on the agenda, and we'll try to wrap up for the year and where we're going to be going into the next fiscal year. So with that said, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn?
Can I get a second?
Seconded.
Thank you very much, Rosalie. And Rosalie, I'll make sure to add you to on the attendance, since when I took attendance, you weren't here at the time.
Oh, I wasn't signed in now.
All
Yeah.
right.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so thank you, everyone. Have a safe and pleasant evening. And for all you mothers out there, happy Mother's Day coming up, okay? Whether
Yeah.
you're the mother of a two-legged, four-legged, furry, feathery, whatever, wish you all the best. And I'll see you next time, okay? Take care, everyone.
Take care, Betty.
All right,
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
good night. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Good
Night.
night.